morning. My name is Susan Jane and I'm the Intuitist. This little vlog is coming from Currumbin Creek, where I'll often go paddling, and I like to share some of my intuitive thoughts with you. Today I wanted to talk to you about trusting your intuition. So I have discussed connecting and how that requires focusing on something to connect with your intuition. I have talked about developing your intuition, and that is all about how we interpret the signs that we get, the information that we do receive once we've connected. Now I want to talk to you about trusting it, because this can be a little bit challenging, this one. We're getting the information, we're interpreting it, and we're going, yeah, look, you need to prove that again. Just show me another sign, show me another sign, show me another sign. The fact is, and I do that myself, the fact is we're getting this information coming in and we don't know how to trust it. So in intuitivenature.com.au, it has a level of intuitive courses that you can do. Now these are really hands-on courses. You actually you practice them, you do things with them. And in the trusting, we look more into the community side of things. So when we're trusting, we want to go into a bigger field. We want to go into, say, small groups, or being in ladies groups, or just helping in a bigger area. And we go into community because it's actually easier to do readings for people you don't know than it is to do it for people you do know. So to develop your intuition, you can do these readings to help you learn to trust your intuition. So the information you're receiving and you're getting, you can actually share with others, and you learn to trust what comes out. Now, the biggest thing in doing a reading for somebody else is the fact that you don't know them, so you have to trust that information that's coming through to you. You have no choice. So if you're reading for a friend and you get shown a ring, the ring information comes through, you could be saying to your friend, and you know that your friend's in a strong relationship, the next step's likely to be marriage, so you sort of go, oh, that's pretty obvious, I don't know if that's correct or not. That's when you sort of go, well, you give that information. However, when you're doing it for somebody you don't know and you get the ring image, then you have to actually trust the information that you're getting, and you have to trust the way you interpret it, and you have to trust that the person's going to receive it and either give you a bit of feedback or just accept it. Now, if they just accept it, they're in their own thought patterns, and it rings true with them. If they ask a question, then something's not ringing true with them, and they need clarification. It doesn't mean you're wrong. And if they doesn't ring true with them, they don't get the clarification they want, then you just let it go, because it could be something you have no understanding of and no idea of. You may have interpreted it slightly different, and it may not be 100% correct in your interpretation, but the information is still true and still right for them. So this is when we're starting to do readings for other people, because we're developing and trusting our intuition. So we're really starting to get that trust element come through. Very, very important, because I know I get information and I go, oh yeah, but I already knew that was going to happen, or that's logical, or whatever excuse I use. But the reality is we're getting this information for a reason, and it could just be little tidbits of information that's just allowing us to, go a bit further. Even creating these vlogs that I'm doing, I've been paddling on the creek for a while now, and it was like, I just love it. It just lets me center, and I've started coming up with all this information, starting getting the downloads from the intuition. And by the time I get back to the house, or I'd have to get back home to start work, that information had gone. So, or I'd get the information, but it just, I wasn't doing anything with it. Since I started doing this, the weather has been ideal to do just to float along and give you a lovely image, so you don't have to look at me all the time, but it gives you a lovely image, and I can allow this information to come through and share it with you. So maybe not a big thing, who knows where it's going to go later on, we'll find that out. But at the moment, I'm just following what my intuition is telling me to do, and I'm trusting that this will work out. I'm trusting that this will be what it needs to be and give me what I want it to give me, or take me in that direction. I want to be able to take intuition to the younger women in the world, actually even high school age girls, and get them to develop it more at that stage so they can make good decisions as they get older, because we get so attached with our emotions. When we're like younger, we just do what we do, and you don't think too much about it. You're not a woman of the world. You're a young child. You do what you do. That's why you're so in tune, and you can be so spiritually in tune. As you hit school, you tend to take that stuff away. People don't talk about it as much, or it's not as popular, and so you sort of want to fit in. You think it's a bit weird because no one's talking about it, and then basically you go out into the world. You start meeting boys, or I shouldn't just say that, but start meeting partners, and you start to question different things. Your emotions are all over the place. It's because the intuition is kicking back in, and we're starting to follow the emotional aspect instead of letting the logic come in as well. And mainly we can't let that logic come in because we really have no idea of, the choices that we have. So in trusting your intuition, it is really challenging. And you feel like you're trusting an emotion, and after going through school and teenagers, trusting those emotions weren't really a good idea, or half the time. So we're trying to get that balance. So if we can get that balance at a school age, and if these videos help that, well then I'm halfway where I need to be, or where I want to be. So trust in your intuition is really, really important. And again, we can't trust everything. Look, put the logics to it. The intuition will give you the information, but put the logics to it and go with that. So get the understanding of that. But I know that I've had information and I've sort of gone, well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, for an example, buying a house. 3 houses that we were looking at. One was yes, buy. 2 were no, don't buy. And very, very clear. We ended up not buying all 3 of them. And yet we were going to, and we looked very, very heavily. We even signed the contract on the one that the intuition said don't buy. So in the end, at the last minute, just before it was about to all go ahead, we pulled out. So it's this sort of stuff, and there's a reason behind it. So learn to trust your intuition. Don't take it as gospel. Take it with your logic. Get your understanding with it. Make sure it's all right. Because the thing is, if you don't follow that, you'll just get more information as well. It's like stumping your toe. If you've done it once, you'll do it 3 times. So that's the third level, is about trusting your intuition, and that's what we've talked about today. So to trust your intuition is about understanding that information, how we interpret it, getting out to a bigger audience, and really putting yourself out there. So this is Susan Jane. I'm the Intuitist, and I'm going to say bye for now and see you in the morning. Bye.